Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, we almost ignored an email that could have turned into one of the easiest PR wins ever. There was no big media outlet name, there was no flashy subject line, and nothing that screamed, "This is important." And that's exactly why we almost missed it. If you are in PR and this is something that sounds familiar to you, trust me, it is because this happens way more than you think. And today, I'm going to break down what that opportunity actually was, why it's so easy to overlook, and how can you start spotting these hidden wins consistently. Because honestly, the best peer opportunities really look impressive at first glance. So, here's what happened. We were doing what most PR people do, which is scanning through emails, pitches, header style requests, journalist requests, and so on. Then we saw this one, which was generic subject line, small publication, and tight deadline. So our first instinct was it's not worth it. And that was the mistake we made. Because in PR, we are trained to chase big names, big media, big features, big visibility, but we completely underestimate momentum opportunities. So something made us pause. Not because the outlet was impressive, because obviously it was not, but because the angle was perfect. The request was hyper specific. The audience was aligned to our brand, and most importantly, we knew very few people would respond properly to that particular query because everyone would have ended up thinking the same thing, that it's not worth our time. So instead of skipping it, we spent 15 minutes crafting a response for that, and that's it. 15 minutes. That small opportunity, it turned into a published feature which got picked up by a bigger platform, which then led to an inbound podcast invite and eventually a high value client conversation, all from something we almost ignored. And here's the key lesson: PR is not about isolated wins, it's about chains of opportunities. Most teams miss this completely. So let's see what are the mistakes or what are the things that PR teams are getting wrong. The three top reasons PR team miss opportunities like this all the time is number one, you filter based on brand, not potential. If it's not a known publication, it usually gets ignored. But smaller platforms often have less competition, they accept faster, and they syndicate content elsewhere. So you are not just pitching that outlet, you are pitching the network effect behind it. Second mistake is that you underestimate easy yes opportunities. So everyone is chasing Forbes, big podcasts, tier 1 media, which means smaller opportunities are wide open. And those are the ones where speed and relevance gives you guaranteed placement. Mistake number 3 is that you don't think in sequences. This is the biggest one. Most PR teams think, will this one feature be worth it? Actually, the question is wrong. The right question is, what could this lead to? Because PR is leverage. One small win gives you credibility. That credibility gives you bigger wins, and bigger wins often results in inbound opportunities. All right, so how do you actually apply this, the tactical framework of PR? Here's a simple framework we use now before ignoring any opportunity. So, step one is to check alignment instead of just focusing on authority, which means you need to ask yourself, is the audience relevant? Is the topic something we can add value to? If the answer to these questions is yes, then it's worth considering. Step 2 is to evaluate response difficulty. If the query is specific, time sensitive, most people won't respond well, and that's your advantage. Step 3 is think second order outcomes. Before skipping, ask, could this be repurposed? Could this lead to backlinks, podcast, or relationships? Could this become social proof? If yes, don't ignore it. Step 4 is to use the 15 minutes rule. Give it 15 minutes. That's it. Not every pitch needs perfection. speed often beats polish in PR. So let's talk about a quick response template. Now, the structure and the simplest structure, which is also effective, is something that gets you quick responses from the journalist, from the publications. So, when you start with intro, keep it short and sweet. One line credibility is way more effective than making it look salesy or too lengthy. Then give insight, which is clear and actionable answer. Just stick to whatever the question journalist is looking for. Then, if if possible, then also give some real world context and also make it data packed, meaning you can also add stats in it to increase the credibility of your pitch. And while closing, offer more input if needed. So that's about the ideal response template that is, of course, tried and tested and has given us a lot of responses. Now, most missed opportunities in PR don't feel like mistakes in the moment. They feel like I'll get to it later, not a priority, or doesn't look big enough. But those are exactly the ones that compound over time. So, next time you're scanning through opportunities, don't just look for the obvious win. Look for the easy to miss ones, because the PR opportunity that changes everything, it's usually something that doesn't look important at first. If you found this useful, I've got more real behind the scenes PR breakdowns like this, the kind most people don't talk about. So drop a comment if you have any specific doubts or topics for us to cover, and I will see you in the next one.